Greetings everyone! As we all know, there are a total of 10 properties that light conveys. But out of all the enumerated properties, I would like to thoroughly focus and discuss on the properties of light focusing on reflection. There are different types of reflection with different definitions. But reflection is when the light bounces off an object. If the surface is smooth and shiny, like glass, water, or polished metal, the light will reflect off some angle as it hit the surface. This is called the specular reflection. The second type of reflection that I would want to discuss is diffuse reflection. This is when light hits off an object and reflects in lots of different directions. This happens when the surface is rough. Most of the things we see are because of light from the source has reflected off it.
When we're studying reflection, it's often helpful to consider a single ray of light coming in and striking a surface, and we can represent that ray with a straight line. It comes in and strikes the surface at a certain angle, and the angle that it strikes at is called the angle of incidence. Now, it's important to remember that we always measure these angles relative to the normal. So take the point at which the light ray strikes and draw a line perpendicular to the surface at that point. And remember, the word normal simply means perpendicular. So that's the surface normal at that point. The angle here that the ray of light makes with the normal, that is what we call the angle of incidence. So the incoming ray is the incident ray, and the angle that it makes with the surface normal is called the incident angle, or the angle of incidence. And then the ray hits the surface and it bounces off. And this angle here is called the angle of reflection. The angle of reflection. And this ray bouncing off is, of course, called the reflected ray. Now, the law of reflection is very, very simple and intuitive. It simply says that the angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection. So this angle, the incoming angle measured relative to the normal, equals the reflected angle measured relative to the normal. And that fits with our everyday experience with ordinary objects. If you have a wall and you throw a tennis ball at the wall, it's going to bounce off. And the incoming angle, you should understand, and you should have experienced things like this, approximately equals the reflected angle. Some spin on the ball might change it a little bit, but the general idea is always the case. If you throw a tennis ball straight at the wall, it's going to bounce straight back. And if you throw it at a very shallow angle, it's going to glance off at a very shallow angle. Light rays work the same way. The angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection.
To answer the last question on how I can relate my chosen topic to my course, BS Economics, is that I know that my peers have different ways relating their chosen topic to our course. But I, Martina Chow, can relate reflection in a situation where both the consumers and producers are present in a market where substitutes or competitors are able. For example, there are two different producers who advertises to sell the same produce. And one producer has gained a total of 20 consumers, but the other one was left with one. This to me can relate to reflection. It can relate and depend on how engaging one producer is. To be able to gather the number of consumers she gained over the other. It can reflect her personality as well as her ability.